Jake Mitchell, a retired Army sergeant, came into the military K-9 adoption center in San Diego, with his pulse pounding beneath his tattered uniform and his battle boots dusted with desert memories. The room buzzed with quiet discussion as he entered the facility. Jake came to reunite with someone who had once saved his life more times than he could count. The Ranger was a German shepherd with amber eyes and a loyalty that was stronger than steel. However, there was a problem. Jake couldn't afford him. His eyes, which had once been sharp with duty, now carried a desperate hope that he wasn't there for a routine visit. The adoption fee was set at $7,500 since Jake was living off of a tiny veteran's pension and working part-time security. Just was unable to pay the fees. The official at the front desk had stated in a chilly manner that unless you have the money, he would go to the next qualified civilian. He drew me out of the line of fire in Kandahar. He slept alongside me through nights of rocket assaults. His family laughing, erupted behind him. A well-dressed pair chuckled from the rear. Did he say family? Did he mean family? Jake shouted with a voice that was shaking. He is not just a dog. He is my companion. He scowled at his wife and nudged her, saying, "It's just a dog. He'll get over it later." Jake clenched his fists but did not utter a single word. He had witnessed battles, and he had been broken and stitched back together by that very dog. He would not allow this to end without a fight. 2 years earlier, Jake and Ranger had patrolled the dust-choked roads of southern Afghanistan. Ranger was not only trained to detect explosives, but he was also able to sense tension, read fear, and identify danger before it even had a chance to breathe. Jake never forgot the sound of his own screaming, thinking that Ranger had died too. Save him. Jake and Ranger both made it scarred and changed brothers. On that fateful day, a hidden IED lay inches from Jake's foot. Ranger growled low and lunged, pushing Jake back, just as the earth exploded in a deafening roar. Ranger was thrown injured but alive. Jake knelt down by the kennel bars inside the kennel, and as soon as their eyes met, the air altered, and the shepherd's ears pricked up. He then let out a faint moan that was completely stifled. In a low voice, Jake said, "Hey buddy, I'm so sorry." A single tear rolled down Jake's cheek as the official yelled out, "Sir, if you are not adopting, please step back. The next person is ready." Ranger carefully rose up and walked to the bars, where he laid his head against Jake's palm. The laughing couple moved forward, and then everything changed. The Ranger growled in a low, unmistakable snarl. He bared his teeth, not out of aggression, but out of heartbreak. His body trembled as the couple approached. When the woman reached to leash him, he retreated into the corner, whimpering and barking frantically. Jake whispered, "He doesn't want them," but the official insisted that the dogs adjust. Jake turned to leave, his eyes wet and his heart shattered. Suddenly, Ranger lunged, not to attack, but to break free with a burst of strength. He leaped against the cage door, barking furiously, and his cries echoed throughout the room. Each bark was a call to the man walking away. The laughter stopped, and everyone turned Jake into a frozen state. "Let him say goodbye," someone murmured. A soldier in uniform stepped forward, saying, "That's not a dog. That's a brother crying for his partner." Even the official paused, uncertain, and the couple stepped back, startled. Jake was shocked. When Jake turned around, walked back, and kneeled next to the Ranger, he said, "I can't afford you, buddy." The Ranger continued to bark throughout the entire conversation. A hushed voice from Jake said, "They won't let me have you." "Count me in for 500, said a gray-haired man in the back. Within minutes, a dozen strangers stepped up, some in uniform and others in plain clothes. One by one, donations poured in, cash cards, and even someone offered to sell their motorcycle. In less than 15 minutes, every penny was raised. Then a voice from the crowd yelled, "I'll pay the first 1,000. A young woman who was crying cried out. The official stared in shock and said, "Well, he's yours in the end." When the door to the cage opened, the Ranger rushed out, almost knocking Jake over. The soldier clung to his dog, burying his face in Ruse's fur. Ow. They wept openly. Around them, and there was not a single dry eye. The couple who had laughed earlier quietly walked out, What remained was something that was much more than pity or policy. It was love. It was loyalty. It was love. It was a nation showing up for one of its own today. Ranger and Jake reside on a tiny farm just outside of Colorado Springs. Up. Ranger sleeps at Jake's side every night, and the two of them go to the Warriors Affairs hospitals to comfort wounded warriors and remind them of one thing that will never be forgotten. They were more than a soldier and a dog. They were loyal hearts. Please leave a comment below if you found this story to be emotionally moving. Have you ever witnessed a bond that was as strong as this one? Share your thoughts with us. We read each and every one of them. Have done if you had seen this moment unfold? Comment now, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel Loyal Hearts for more true stories that celebrate bravery, sacrifice, and unwavering loyalty. Because heroes appear in a variety of forms. Some with boots and some with pores. You should be sure to press the bell so that you never miss an update.